Oh, all right. I think I get it now. I get what's happening. So, big welcome, Freedom family. It is Thursday, the 20th of July. We are well and truly halfway through the year, as you all know. And this year is flying by. It's going to be Christmas before we know it. So, we have an incredible guest speaker and a soul sister in our space and on our community, and someone that we do watch close by as well. And can't wait to the day we actually hug Holly.
Yeah, literally.
For our vibration station today, we have Holly with us, and we're going to chat. We're going to chat so many things. I'm going to let Holly share her story and share who she is for those who don't know who Holly is and haven't seen her on her journey. By all means, we're going to share Holly's Instagram and ways to follow her and connect with her at the end, and anything that she has coming up and whatnot. So, Holly, my love, for anyone who's new in this space or coming across any profiles or platforms, like I am Krista Melbourne. I'm one of the co-founders of the Freedom Sister Movement. And
yeah, I'm Courtney Anderson. I'm also co-founder of the Freedom Sister Movement as well. So freaking pumped, ready.
Yeah, pump. And I've got a bit of glitter on today. We were just saying to Holly, she's like, did you girls run an aesthetic dance this morning? And we did. We went down to Coolum Beach on the Sunshine Coast and ran an incredible event inside another women's community. So that was lots of fun to see everyone have fun, celebrate, let go, release fear, all the things. So, which is so much of what we're going to talk about with Holly in this brief time. So, Holly, my love, a big welcome. We're so honoured to have you here, babe. Thank you. Thank you. I would love for you to please introduce yourself. You know, who is Holly? Why is Holly here? That's a big one. We can do a whole series of that. But anyone who doesn't know you, and for those who do, you know, who is Holly? And go take it away, babe. And
thanks,
I'll
babes.
Questions.
Oh, it's such an honor to be here. And honestly, Freedom Sisters movement is like something that, you know, you guys really embody. And I was even just like scrolling through the group last night, and I was just like, like what you guys are creating here is so phenomenal. And I'm just really honored to also be in this space, be asked to be here, and walk alongside beautiful women that are like doing the thing, like actually just figuring it out as you guys go and just taking that aligned action. It's really fun. And I'm in a period of like, what am I as well? Like, you know, we're all just kind of like figuring it out as we go, but we're taking the steps and we're moving forward and we're doing the thing. But yeah, guys, my name is Holly Saffron Heard. I've added my last name on now. So yeah, we're kind of a big deal. We're claiming back our hometown after running away.
Trademarked.
I love it.
Yeah, it's been a big journey of life, you know, like I guess as Gen Zs, like for those of you that are watching, like drop a 1 in the comments if you guys are part of our generation, or possibly if you're the one before that is also like really stepping into what this really looks like for us, like in the online space as women, as human beings that really care about the world and that are kind of on this journey of figuring stuff out as we go. Because really, like for myself over the last few years, but I've always been like more of like an entrepreneurial minded person. I've had all these massive visions and like wanted to bring all these beautiful big things to life and kind of tried to figure out what that looks like. And in the beginning it was like low ticket in-home party network marketing kind of vibe, and it was great. I was in my hometown, I knew everyone, like I was making bank, like it was easy, all those beautiful things that I was doing. I was a dancer, so it gave me the opportunity to like still do what I wanted to do and really bring that to the forefront. But I've always been someone who once something is a no, it's like a hard no. Let us know in the comments if like you've felt that as well, or if you've gotten to a point where you're just like, oh, hang on a minute, I actually can't even look that way anymore. There's something else for me and I can't ignore it anymore. And that was me. Like I was 19, living in my hometown, was like, I need to leave here. I need to figure out what my next step is. And so I was like, Gold Coast, sounds cool. I was like, it's got the beach and it's a city. So let's go, like, let's see what we can do. And I followed my yes there. It was hard. It was a difficult time because from a small town, it just doesn't happen. And I was one of the first kind of in that era to kind of actually expand out and do something different than what our small town vibe did. And so it was like, are you sure? Like, are you sure that you want to do that whole? I'm like, yeah, like literally worst that can happen is I come home.
Yeah.
Like, and then
I
they're
feel like
like,
it's not that bad.
you know, like, it's so interesting. But yeah, that was like the first kind of time of me just really trusting myself and really knowing like what that meant for me. Landed here on the GC 4 years ago, and yeah, my life has completely changed ever since. Went through a bit of depression. Like, I have ADHD, so I really struggled to like get myself out of my anxious kind of episodes, obviously being in new cities, like all of that kind of stuff has always been such a really prevalent side of who I am as a woman. But with my ADHD also being someone who has the coolest innovative ideas and just wants to do more, like always wants to be like figuring new stuff out, and my brain works so differently, and really owning that as a woman. Yeah, which then led me down my healing journey as we do. And I was like 20 when I first went to like my first like retreat, and actually went and healed a lot of like my long-term kind of traumas and all the things. Yeah, which then steered me into being open to other avenues of income, which then steered me into being open to what it actually means as a woman. Do I want to, you know, represent a company that has me still boxed into what I am, or do I want to kind of establish something of my own? Yeah, so I kind of dabbled in that space, and then tried to figure out like where my vision was going and what things were. Guys, like if you're not clear on your vision, like what is actually the whole point, you know, or even just like what it feels, because some people are like not, you know, visual people, and they can't really be like, oh, like this is what I see for my future. But at least if you can actually just tap into what that feels like and how you actually want to live your days, that can be a really beautiful place to start, if you can't visually like see it. But it's you know, been such a big one with even transitioning out of any kind of personal development realm, going way too far into the spiritual realm, and then like coming out of it, and like, you know, just it's been this like pendulum effect of just figuring out life. And COVID, all the things, valuing freedom, feeling like all my choices were taken away, losing jobs, you know, like trying to establish life, being 20, like doing all the things. But, you know, like what I really come back to as a woman and being solid in is the spaciousness that I desire to have, the freedom that I want to have, the inner freedom, the outer freedom, and who I actually want to be, and what that actually even looks like in how I can become that. And so even, you know, obviously how we've connected is through our online business, through our online income model, through affiliate marketing as a whole, and what that really meant for us, because really like we're affiliated to something always. You're affiliated in your job, you're affiliated to a certain environment, you're affiliated, you know, in all of these places. So what are you choosing to be affiliated to? And for me, it was a model that I cared about. It was a model that I loved. It was a model that cared about the future, that had a 500-year vision that made sense to me, and that I was like, cool, I can represent that. Let's go. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've kind of like ran along random.
No, you've said so many incredible things that I'm like, where the fuck do I even start? Because like I said to you, that this conversation is going to be for our viewers and our community just as much as it is for myself, for us too, because, you know, I love what you said about choose where you want to be affiliated, because we're in a world that's run by a government for, you know, like we've got all of these limitations, expectations, you know, we are linked to something. And so it is like you get to choose in every single moment what you want to be linked to. And so for me, it's just like clicked of like, oh my gosh, like that is so incredible and such a great thing for people to reflect on, of like where you choose to be, because you're not stuck, you're not a tree, like Kristen always says, you can move. And so it's like, where do you want to move to? And so many things. It's so freaking incredible, so powerful.
Yeah, 100%. I was gonna say, Holly, I second what Courtney's mentioning. Everything you've gone down already, so many rabbit holes. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna it's incredible. So babe, you know, you mentioned some really powerful things around people being unclear with their vision, and I'd love to just talk to that for a moment of, you know, because people watching this or watching the replay or coming across this in a few months or years time or whatever it might be, might feel really scattered, or they've got a lot of things going on, or they're overwhelmed. Like, so many people use the word overwhelmed, and I always encourage and invite people to use the word abundance. Like, you've just got this abundance of opportunities, abundance of choices. What's lacking, for the better term, is just your ability to choose what you desire. Choose out of those abundance of opportunities what you want to move forward with, which would be in alignment with what you desire and what you value. So I feel what you shared about people being unclear with their visions or even feeling what they desire is a really big point, and a lot of people would be struggling with that at the moment. And then we have had the last couple of years where people have really tested with that too, and it showed a lot and it brought up a lot of stuff. You know, how have you navigated being clear with yourself, or walking a path sometimes alone when your desires and your heart comes through, and not everybody wants that or follows that or understands, or family or friends told you, you know, what if it doesn't work, Holly, moving away, or what if this and that, and you go, but I just moved back, who cares?
Yeah,
I've done it and I tried it. I don't know until I try it, you know. So what's been your one tip or many tips or points or your direction that's always allowed you to follow the way or tune into your heart's desires? Like, what has that been that might really inspire, especially a woman out there listening to this?
Yeah, I feel like what's really coming in is like the umbrella kind of understanding of what you want, because there's always going to be other lanes, there's always going to be different paths, there's always going to be things that you'll kind of pick up, put down, pick up again, go off with. But if you kind of just have like an umbrella understanding of what life kind of looks like, for me it's like people are my purpose, and so everything else under that just kind of interconnects. I've always been someone who you know, has wanted babies, has wanted a family, has desired to actually really live like that woman aspect, and like really quite been traditional in seeing that. And so what that meant for me was then being like, okay, well, if I have this vision of like, say, being at home with my man, or at opening up this for like how I want to be a mother, or what freedom actually, say, you know, means to me, or those kind of big kind of questions, what then is required from there? Sweet, what then can I look at? So it's kind of like taking it reverse engineering more so, and being like, all right, well, if I want this, then what are the models that look like so that I can have that? Sweet, if I look at low ticket network marketing that have me in in-home parties, then like that kind of doesn't really fit my mold. Jobs never really aligned. I didn't want to affiliate with having to ask anyone anything, or like being mapped out in that. I also knew that, you know, what would be required is that a man in my life probably, you know, is a wee bit older than myself, so they probably aren't in a model like what I would be looking at. They might actually be in traditional world, so it would probably mean that I would have to earn enough income for the both of us to be able to bring him home. It would then mean, you know what I mean? This is kind of making sense. So I'd kind of tap it out and go, all right, what is this? And then like, what do I actually want? Like, where can my vision become so grand and so big, but also so centered? Because otherwise it just feels like even when I came into Enagic, do you guys talk about Enagic as a forefront?
Yes, babe. Yeah.
You know how like some people don't?
No, we're all for it.
Yeah, lit. Okay, cool.
Yes.
So when I stepped into Enagic, it was kind of like I dabbled for a bit, and then was like, sweet, this will be a backbone for me. Dancing is my passion. That's my purpose. I could never meditate. Who can't meditate? It's still like something that I'm challenged with, but I've been like really, you know, anchoring it in over the last like 2.5 years. So it's made it a little bit easier. But I then created a modality that was supporting women like myself with ADHD to meditate through movement, to meditate through their body, and to really like connect to their hips, move trauma through, like cry, actually feel their emotions, feel empowered in feeling their emotions, not even make sense of their emotions a lot of the time. Like, yeah, just be like, girl, like whatever you're feeling, laugh, cry, like be all of the things, feel it all, and try and not make sense of it, because a lot of the time it's just moving energy. But what that then kind of took me down was, you know, being like, oh, okay, well, this is my passion. This is a project that I want to create. And so I'm going to go and run with this. And so I did for like the last, I think 2 years. 2 days ago was 2 years that I like properly launched it out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just so beautiful. I had a bit of like because it's not even really existent anymore apart from me as a human and what I bring into spaces and containers now as Holly, rather than a separate identity to my mission. But yeah, it's been a really big kind of piece in even activating visions for people and for myself and moving into that as women. Like we need to be like these waves of just like chaos and like we're crazy and even especially with like the ADHD or the neurological pathways and brains and all the things, it's important for us to really like shift through that because like our blood remembers so much in our bodies and it doesn't mean that like it's even our traumas or our things that we're, but like our ancestors and the families that have been before us and all the things that then has led so many women back home in their bodies. But running traditional business made me so freaking tired. And I was like, oh, like I don't even like my passion anymore. I was like, what do you even mean? I had to outsource all these things. It was like paying a social media manager like $800 a month, like doing all of these things that then I was like, sweet, like cool. It means that I can be doing all these other things. But I'm like, what am I doing? Like for that frustrated kind of phase of I just want to be me.
Yeah.
You know, got to be a way that I can be paid to be me and actually really understand how grand this gets to become when I have the influx of finances that are coming through, when I have so many families being impacted in so many beautiful ways, that then can, you know, allow that to become a bigger thing when it's meant to, rather than forcing it. So that's been really huge. I mean, you guys are laughing, but I feel like
it's so relatable right now. It's not
similar
funny.
position. Yeah.
That's why we're
Like,
laughing, because we're just like, this just all makes sense. Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. Like, you know, we have these grand ideas and, you know, but I also didn't ever want to scale it. I could never see it scaling to like a multi 6-figure business, because I also knew what that would mean for me as a CEO in that space and how much that would take me away from the idea of being with my family, having babies, being present, right? So like there's so many little pieces. I had like a meltdown last June, and I was like, Lord, like I literally just lay it all at your feet. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a little human that keeps getting given all of these little gifts and I'm just figuring it out. Like, help me. Like, just help me. I'm done. You know? And I was like, what would you do right now if you were, you know, if you were to fall pregnant, what would you literally do? I'm sure that there's a lot of women that are either mamas or desire to be mamas one day, or just, you know, even just humans that care about, you know, their nieces and nephews in the next generation or whatever. What would you do? And it was like, you know, God, literally just like run with the magic. I was like, no, bro, like, really? Like, that doesn't make sense. You know, I was like, that doesn't make full sense right now because I'm trying to like figure out all this stuff. And it's like, no, this will come together when you really establish this like solid pillar for yourself. Okay. You know, like been here for 2.5 years, like, you know, all the things. And then, yeah, it's been a real big evolution. And what it's now meant for me is not saying no to things that I want to say yes to, not saying no to the day that I get my bleed and wanting to either run a marathon or lay in bed. It doesn't mean that I have to answer to anybody. You know, it's really supported me in choosing love, like, you know, meeting people that I love, like putting myself in conversations and environments that really inspire me, being surrounded by people that, it doesn't even have to be like a magic focused as such, but like people that have an open mind outside of what you currently know. And you know, Kristen, I know that you asked what people might but what people might be able to start doing if, you know, people in their life and their environments aren't what they're trying to do. Put yourself in different rooms, like get in more conversations of people that actually care. I was saying this on a webinar yesterday, like, you know, that it's going to be hard stepping into spaces that feel so unfamiliar, but when you have mentorship and support around you, nothing is going to compare. You know, the conversation you're having, your mates that you currently have might not align with you, or you might not feel completely inspired by them, then that's totally cool. Like, you don't have to dislike them, hate them, block them. It doesn't have to feel icky. It just naturally will float away or come closer if it's meant to. And that's that power and trusting you, knowing yourself as a woman. Anyway, that's vision.
Oh my gosh, Holly, so many things. I just popped in the comments just before because people are dropping bombs, like fire emojis, love, loving this. Like, yeah, you're on fire, babe. You're just fucking like owning this
I never
shit.
planned these things, so
No,
it's
that's
incredible.
us too.
And this is a very, very important point for everyone to see how incredible it looks and it sounds and it presents when you are an embodied woman, you are integrated, you are just fucking authentic, you own every part of yourself and just lay it on the table. And it's like, take it or leave it. I don't care. And Holly, you do like an incredible job at leading that way, babe. And you can see your authenticity and individuality. It's very, very inspiring. And I dropped a funny comment before because when we say enagic, I always just hear magic, and I'm like, surely other people are like, what's this magic word she keeps going?
Magic water.
Magic
Literally.
water. So I'm so mindful of your time, babe, and definitely wanting to have you on and everything. So, to talk into that, to talk about, what is it that Holly does behind the scenes and generates this income with focusing on the one thing and creating your vision. What, if you want to share for a couple of minutes or however you want to do it, enagic, Kangen water, like everything that we're all about as well, and we can have a beautiful chat.
I love enagic. I'm just so solid in the vision that they have and how powerful Japan is in general. Like, I truly believe that if you're not invested in a space that is affiliated or somewhere around Japan or that is a company in Japan, like, you're kind of insane. Because they actually get it. Like, they're actually so intelligent. They're the smartest people in the world, nearly. And they care. They're actually really about the generational impact that's created, which is like why they have 500-year visions, which is why so many big companies, even in Japan, actually succeed, and why they have so many like generations that have taken over companies and businesses along the way. So even in enagic itself, I'm like, sweet, well, their vision is my vision. If I can see the legacy impact that is actually created, not only for me, but my babies and their babies and the people that I won't even know that I will love, then that's just a full yes for me. The water was an added bonus. I know that I need like, mental stability and brain health. And I understand that, it also supports with like my ADHD and my own personal reclaiming kind of pieces. But I do know that it helps with my brain fog, and that I desire to fuel my body with the best. I care about luxury. I love having, a wealth-minded aspect. And so how can that come in? We're water. We need water. It makes sense. Like, this kind of stuff just, I can't really understand when people come to me and they're like, I just don't really get the water. I'm like, that's the easy part. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's the thing that makes sense. The rest of it, I understand if you don't know yourself, but, we can work on that too. But yeah, it's been a really empowering journey, I think, to just really own enagic and really see the long-term vision in it, and what that means for us. And I always just look at it as, I've really established my business more around like families rather than sales. And it has been a thing for me. And I know that I can speak really openly where money has, because I am of faith, and it has been really heavily prominent, more so in the last 8 months, but the 2-year kind of process for me. And so I really struggled with, worshipping money and, doing different things that communities can sometimes do, and people that I love in my life, like, it's totally fine. But for myself, I was like, what do I want? What do I want to show up as? How do I actually want to navigate the business? It doesn't mean that anyone's wrong. I just don't want to do things the same as other people, which is, where enagic has been beautiful in just supporting people and just choosing it how they want to. But, it's meant then, like, it rather than sales, it's families. Like, how many families are you physically impacting? What is that actually meaning for women globally, to bring, the next generation that we have back into the home? what does that mean as a collective, getting us out of governed by the government? How can we actually, turn to God and our innate wisdom as women and be able to actually bring that through in the forefront? It's been really powerful. And I think that's something that really supports, me and being really embodied in what this is, because for a long time I was like, how to make 6K in one sale? Do a little dance. And it was fun, but I was like, it doesn't actually represent what this business is. And it doesn't fully own how impactful and creative and beautiful and fully liberated this space is. It kind of washed it out. For me, some people make millions of dollars from dancing on reels. Great. And I love doing those things, but not when it's in a space of a business that creates generational legacy, and it then means now I have the option, I have retreats and events and things that now reach out to me and they're like, I'd love to have you come in and do this. I'm like, great. Well, I don't plan anything, so I'm just walking in with a playlist and we're going to have fun. You just have to trust me. And they're like, sweet. So now that's more so where I get to give back and where my passion gets to come through, because I'm also not I have to charge this person $1,000 for 2 hours, to do this one thing that then has both of us kind of feeling like there's, just disalignment for some people. And for myself, it meant that Enagic can pay me. I can support families in creating something for themselves, really partnering in a vision that just means the world to all of us. And then in return be able to give back, because it's the generosity piece that just makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, babe, we're gonna need to bumper sticker a lot of these things and make a quote book out of this.
Literally everything you said, you just speak from this inspirational, authentic place. And I know for myself, I can relate so fucking much to you, and just coming into and stepping into that next level leadership within myself, and even as Kristen as well. I know I can speak on both of our behalves here. It's so incredible to watch and to have you here and to be a part of this community. This is the reason why, everything you said is the reason why I'm doing what we're doing. Freedom of choice, to be able to go traveling and, go 5-star, or be able to, backpack and then be able to give back to these communities. The whole point, to be able to give back to that degree and to the vision that I have, I need money. And I require that in order to be able to assist these people within my community. It's if you think about the tribal days, it's the exact same thing, but just in a different sense now. Obviously, we've changed and adapted and evolved. So I've just got so many. I'm going to have to rewatch this back for myself, because there's so many aha moments. And I'm just so honored. And I'm really thankful that you've shared from this, of course, such an authentic, beautiful place. It's amazing to see.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, babe, you're a freaking legend, a queen. We're so honored and blessed to have you, babe. I know that your link is in the bio for everyone as well, but please go and follow Holly on Instagram, connect with her on Facebook. Babe, if you want to share anything that you've got upcoming or any few last things and how to also connect with you, please do.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm just a little human. Yeah, for the first time in my life, I have no offerings outside of just who I am and what I'm creating. And that also feels really good, but if there are people that desire to connect, that want to talk, that would like to do a live video, or that would like to have me on podcasts, or something like that, I'm open to talking. I'd love to talk and speak, and I love video and all the things. So this is what really aligns with me, and how I can serve communities, and how I can really be that stand outside of events and planning and all of that kind of stuff. So love you guys so much. It's been such an honor and so fun. I can't wait to look at the comments.
Me too.
Oh, awesome, babe. Thank you so much. Well, everybody have a wonderful Thursday today. We'll connect with you soon. Of course, our inboxes are all open. Holly's as well. Connect with her, support her, follow along her journey, ask any questions in any of the comments, and we'll certainly connect if you'd like to whoever. If it's a question for Holly or something she said, then ask her or ask us, and we'll certainly chat with her for you. So appreciate you so much, babe. I'll stop the live stream there.